Cloud. We've all heard of it. Everyone's talking about it. They're talking about moving their business to it. But what is it? And how can it help a business, especially a business that may be outgrowing an on-premise solution? Hi, I'm Bob Shago. I've been building and teaching about cloud computing for the last 17 years. This was before we even started calling it cloud. And so I've seen a few things. I've been with Sage Intacct in one capacity or another for the last 14 years. I've seen amazing advances in cloud computing for finance and look forward to sharing some of the knowledge with you today. So today's webinar is not about selling you on cloud. It's not about persuading you to switch your financial system to cloud. Rather, it's about sharing with you what I know about cloud computing, specifically SaaS financial management, and discussing ways you can figure out if it's right for your organization. I'm going to dive into what cloud is, what SaaS is specifically. I'll then look at places you can look in your company to calculate your ROI, followed by a discussion of total cost of ownership. Now, in the process of writing and teaching about cloud computing, and specifically software as a service, I talked to a lot of customers about where they were and where they are now. I've come to learn that moving to the cloud is not a magic pill for a business. Companies that thrive on the cloud do two main things. They identify how the move will create a positive ROI and then fully implement the solution. This allows them to take advantage of all the added visibility and automation that cloud offers. They realize that rather than being a magic pill, cloud is another tool in their toolbox, or in some cases, a whole new toolbox. And as you learn what that tool set of cloud computing is, you can better decide if you have a need for it. The cloud can be like a mechanic's tool set. Now, let me make a comparison. My dad's a mechanic with every tool imaginable for building and repairing engines. Unlike my dad's garage, my garage has the tools of an amateur mechanic. I've added tools as I needed them, but there's no engine hoist or valve compressors because I don't do that kind of work. In cloud computing, especially the systems I've worked with, you can add what you need when you need it. Or in business terms, when you see a return on investment opportunity from adding it. So let's dive into defining this thing we call cloud computing and how it works. So cloud computing in a nutshell, this is my short definition, delivers services like servers, storage, databases, networking, and software over the internet. Using the cloud is like getting electricity by plugging into a wall socket versus firing up your own generator with all its fuel and maintenance requirements. In terms of costs, it offloads much of the capital expense of running those services in-house. In addition, it provides added value to businesses or individuals using the cloud. So after I narrow down our definition of cloud, pointing out exactly where companies are going to build their ROI cases makes up the bulk of this presentation. So a cloud solution is like a house that has a foundation, framing, and then finish. The first two require additional work, while the last one is turnkey and ready to go. So infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, like Amazon Web Services and Heroku, provide an infrastructure for doing cloud computing. The catch is that you get to do the computing or hire someone to build and maintain the applications on that infrastructure. Another flavor of cloud computing is the cloud platform, also called platform as a service. This is something like Force.com, built by the folks over at Salesforce. A platform allows for more rapid deployment of software because you aren't programming as much as you're configuring an application to set up data sets, UI pages, and interactions that have already been defined in a system. The third flavor of cloud computing, the one most people think of in terms of a cloud service to do something like financial management, is software as a service. Systems like Sage Intacct, Salesforce, and Bill.com are software as a service. People connect over the internet and use the applications without concern for the programming or the data structure. The service provider takes care of updates, security patches, and making sure everything works as expected. So SaaS is what I'm going to be talking about for the bulk of this presentation, though it's important to note that every SaaS system has to sit on a platform, which in turn sits on an infrastructure. The nature of the platform and the infrastructure can have a big impact on the software. Within SaaS are several flavors of how software is hosted. You can get single tenant, where a single piece of software is installed on a web server for each individual client. Or you can get multi-tenant, where all clients share the same code base. I'm going to cut to the short of it and point out that multi-tenant is the only method that provides the key benefits associated with cloud computing and SaaS. Within a multi-tenant system, with everybody running on the same code base, updates apply to everyone at once. This is what allows SaaS providers to innovate faster and what has also led to configurable flexibility and economies of scale, which you're going to see directly impacts the value added by the software. Multi-tenant SaaS is what Aaron Harris, CTO of Sage, was referring to when he said, under the architecture of a true cloud system, developers can innovate to solve large data issues that just can't be solved on limited single-server solutions. Now, before moving on, let me point out that Sage has a number of products that have cloud features. As I've shown, cloud can be a broad area to cover. For example, Sage 50 customers who are looking for cloud backup and remote access to their desktop accounting can choose Sage 50 Cloud while keeping their current functionality. I just want to be clear that the value areas I'm going to talk about go way beyond that and are specific to a multi-tenant SaaS system. I've worked mostly with Sage Intacct Cloud Financial Management System, so my examples come from that solution. I just don't want any confusion about where you'll see the kind of ROI opportunities I'm going to be talking about. Our basic equation today starts with the added value part, figuring out where an organization can see gains in visibility and process improvement. Then I'll turn to some things to consider in building your cost of ownership calculations. This equation is key to determining if and when your company is ready to move to the cloud. This is a question without a single answer for every company. For some, it's about the volume of work they're handling. Well, for others, it's about the complexity and regulatory requirements for their business. Let's dive into figuring out your ROI by first looking at the potential value added for your company. What we're getting into now is kind of where the rubber meets the road in the typical company or organization. We'll look at how a sample company might consider added value in their organization. Just a quick preface to what areas I'm going to talk about and why I'm going to talk about them. These are the areas that I've typically seen companies report a measurable return on investment after moving to cloud financial management. Access, reduced processing time for the close and in AP and AR, and enhanced visibility through multi-dimensional reporting across their whole organization. Reporting that includes combined financial and operational metrics. I'm going to walk through an example company that has moved to the cloud and has found areas where cloud computing has impacted their business. I've created this example company to do a lot of different things so that you can find similarities in the things you do and see ways cloud financial management might provide an ROI for you. My example company is Cloud9 Security. They take care of security needs for their customers. Maxine is the head of finance, and she has to deal with a wide variety of financial concerns. They handle product orders, they handle projects, they handle subscription services. Her biggest concern since joining the company has been visibility, getting the right information in the right format to analyze the business and make key decisions. Let's look at how moving to the cloud has added value in the area of visibility into the business by looking at the areas that actually contribute to that visibility. First off, there's access. Now, this is the original promise of cloud computing. It still holds true today. Anytime, anywhere access. But a multi-tenant cloud solution goes way beyond anytime, anywhere access. It is true that Maxine and her team can access their financials from anywhere. And for her company with offices in Texas, Maine, California, and Florida, this is huge. Even if she didn't have multiple locations, the fact that she had to send her accounting team home during the COVID crisis made their anywhere access invaluable. This access also allows people in the field to enter orders and project completion information in real time, leading to better up-to-the-minute reporting on activity. But here's the big cloud advantage. The cloud has allowed them to connect their CRM, warehouse, and in-field service systems right into finance. So activity is captured and reported in a single system of record. These connections also create time savings as Maxine's staff doesn't have to re-enter data that was already input somewhere else. This leads us into the direct time-saving automation. You might be saying, wait, my computer's been automating things for years without being on the cloud. This is true. But how does cloud impact automation? Part of it is that little bit I mentioned about how multi-tenant cloud software runs on a single code base. This means that they have to build in flexible configuration you need to run things your way. They don't get to send over a consultant to tweak the software. In the case of Sage Intacct, they've gone to great lengths to put the configuration in the hands of the financial team, setting up options and structures that align with the way accounting gets done. For example, in Maxine's Sage Intacct purchasing, order entry, and even the inventory modules that feed into AP and AR, she has transaction definitions that let her create workflows that match her company's processes. She's created different transaction workflows for different aspects of her business. In her case, she has a different order workflow for product sales versus services. Invoices from these different workflows post to different GL accounts, and she's defined transaction flows from quote to order to shipper to invoice that get converted without rekeying any information. She also speeds up the approval process in her company by configuring levels of approval that kick in and send automated messages to approvers. No more playing find the manager. And because this is a cloud application, approvers can approve transactions from their phones or tablets as well as their computers, pretty much anywhere, anytime. She can set these approval rules to run on department or managerial structures as well as on amount. Again, all this speeds up the rate of business, and capturing the business in the financial system at every step leads to more accurate and current visibility. This configurability is also found in the reporting system itself. In a cloud-connected system where data flows in from external systems, reporting needs to be under the control of finance rather than relying on IT or consultants. Some of the later webinars in this series go into depth around those reporting tools, from finance reports to custom transactional reports to customizable dashboards. Because it is a cloud system, it can serve as a data hub for all financial-related systems, collecting and reporting on non-financial data as well, like hours of operation, number of employees, retail space, and data usage, and then using those non-financial data points to create business metrics when combined with financials. As a company with multiple entities, Maxine's company needs to see across all its locations. This used to mean that she had an instance or a file for each of her entities, and she would consolidate those manually in spreadsheets each month. With a cloud system, she's able to roll those up under a single top-level entity. Because all her entities use the same chart of accounts, she has continuous consolidation across the organization. If she had entities with different charts of accounts, like foreign entities or entities that had special requirements for their business or regulatory requirements, she would run the consolidations with just a few clicks. So I want you to consider, how would an immediate consolidation affect your period close? Typical companies on Sage Intacct are cutting their close time in half. Looking forward, Maxine also enjoys the benefits of AI and machine learning brought about by cloud computing. You see, cloud computing allows us to connect CPUs together in massive arrays to crunch lots of data quickly. On Sage Intacct, this means she gets AI automation like GL outlier detection, which looks across her GL and reports any anomalies and even suggests remedies based on things she's done in the past. And her employees who consult for customers use intelligent time to gather information from their calendars and email to recommend timesheet entries, saving hours each week and improving billing accuracy. Now, these enterprise-level advancements in AI technology are available to her small business because of cloud computing. I'm not going to put any numbers to how this example company saw value add from moving to the cloud. That would really be pointless since it's a fictional company. But Sage Intacct has gathered reports from scores of customers who report on the financial improvements they've seen from moving to cloud financial management. Hickory Creek Healthcare, they saved 10 hours per month in reporting preparation. A UAB Educational Foundation saves at least 6 days of AP time each month. Comet Sales used automations made available through the cloud to save 100 hours per month in data entry, and they saw a return on investment in just 2 months. And Homevestors cut accounts receivable hours by 30 hours a week. PCF slashed client billing and AR processing time by 50%, and Cornerstone saves $150,000 annually just through improved productivity. People get to these numbers by adding up the time savings in their accounting processes For example, how much time can you save by not playing Find the Manager for approvals? How much time by not rekeying orders? How much time by cutting the close in half? And what do those time savings add up to in terms of labor costs? Even bigger may be, what do those time savings add up to in reallocating that time to higher value activities like business analysis? Any one of these may provide all the ROI you need to justify moving to the cloud. Your gains may be counted in money, or like Hallstatt, a wealth management company, in terms of what you can do for your customers. With cloud computing visibility and automation, they were able to create an alternative investment structure within the financial system that led to a $26 million investment. Or with Room to Read, an international nonprofit who used their Streamline financials, a 400% ROI, by the way. They used that to help educate 100,000 additional children. So when you start looking at it in terms of your mission and your company and what you do for your customers and what you do for those you're trying to serve, it becomes a lot bigger than just the dollar ROI. Now let's turn our attention to total cost of ownership of on-premise versus cloud. Calculating TCO is a little simpler than calculating value add, but it's more than just the price of your software contract or your software maintenance. It comes down to what you're paying for now that would go away or get repurposed by moving to the cloud. It also takes into account the cost of risk associated with on-premise versus cloud systems. Elements to consider include software and support. Are you on the low, mid, or high end? What about annual server costs, co-location, and power? Internal IT and external support or upgrades, even if you don't do them every year. One element that kind of falls between value add and TCO, and that's security. Not just the cost of security, but the cost of risk associated with security failures. Security is a constant balancing act of providing access to those that need it and protection from bad actors. So just exactly what are you getting when you move to a cloud financial management solution? I can't speak to the security of every cloud, but I can give you Sage Intacct as an example. With Sage Intacct, you get enterprise-level security that exceeds what all but the largest companies can afford. This includes dedicated, seasoned, and certified information security professionals, hardened facility with 24/7 guards, closed-circuit video monitoring, man traps, biometrics, uninterrupted power supplies, and fire suppression, and monthly installation of additional servers to maintain extreme traffic capacity. Sage Intacct maintains capacity with over 10,000 CPUs and over 100 terabytes of RAM, handling over 1 million application requests per day and over 1 billion web service API calls per month. And we do all this while targeting less than 30% continuous server utilization. And that's because beyond the security of protecting the data from a breach is protecting the data from an overflow. Sage Intacct maintains server capacity to ensure that daily usage stays at or below 30% of capacity. This is the advantage of pooled resources in a multi-tenant cloud system. At the end of the day, your decision to move to the cloud or stay where you are boils down to whether you'll see an ROI with your company. Consider the value add you can achieve through access from a distributed workforce or locations, connection to other key systems that affect finance, automation of transactions and approvals, and visibility into up-to-the-minute financial and transactional reports. Add in your TCO savings or costs. The details around calculating your ROI are unique to each business. Our typical customer sees a payback in less than 7 months. So next time someone asks you what cloud computing is all about, you can tell them it's about way more than just anywhere, anytime access. I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great day.